Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and welcome back to Spiritual Perspectives. We are looking at the phenomena of Sharia within Islam, and we had mentioned that Sharia, the divine law, is the very embodiment of God. So therefore, whatsoever a person practice, he is implementing the very will of the Lord and how the God wants him to be. And we said it is very central to Islamic religion, to Islam, regardless of a person accepts or denies, meaning that regardless of a person practices or doesn't practice, he accepts the Sharia. If he is a Muslim, he has to accept the Sharia. One could get into technical details in regards to which time will not permit us, what part, if he denies, what part he accepts, that will make him a Muslim, that will not make him a Muslim. Let's leave that for our future discussion. Before the break, I had mentioned that we will look at the society, the family, economics and politics, which comes under the second category within the Sharia. We said you have the ibadat, and the second category is the muamalat, in which you have the society. Islam views society as something that is in connection with God. It is not something separated from God, and that is why you have divine law in regards to dealing with the society. If you may recall, about 2 programs ago, we had mentioned that how is the human relationship with his surrounding, and this surrounding is nothing but, or this world is nothing but an amana, a trust given to him, and he has a relationship with them. So obviously this relationship is a divine relationship. So now when it comes to on a closer level, where you have the relationship with other human beings, how Islam used this as Islam used this as something that is servitude, something that is considered as ibadat vis-a-vis God. So therefore every Muslim is considered as a brother for a fellow Muslim. The concept of brotherhood, it is very unique, the concept of brotherhood within Islam. That is why you tend to see that individuals, people from different countries, different nations, different tribes, different walks of the society, they refer or they call each other as brother. They have this brother Jafar, brother Zayd, brother Amr. Every time they say brother, and then they take the name usually, which points out to how Islam have viewed, or how Islam have regarded the society as brother and the brotherhood. And on this basis, the law is applied. So whatsoever the law that might be in regards to the Muslims or other religions as well is based on that. That is where you also find whether this could be discussed in the politics. However, the letter of Amirul Mu'mineen to Malik al-Ashtar, where he regards as those of the other faith as a fellow human being. They are part of your family, they are part of human race, so you treat them accordingly. So you have the methodology of treating them is also mentioned within the muamalat, and based upon how they stand in front of God, what is their value in front of God in terms of their understanding, in terms of their spiritual makeup. Then the laws are applied accordingly. Then you have the issue of the family. Within the family as well, there is the family law, which talks about marriage, which talks about divorce, which talks about will, which talks about heritage, which looks at the respect of parents, for example. Enormous amount of emphasis in the Quran in regards to parents, where they fall in hierarchy. There's a hierarchy. You have the command of God, and then you also have the command of your parents, where the ayah clearly points out to that worship none but Allah, as the verse goes, worship none but Allah, treat with kindness your parents. So therefore, after the command of ubudiyat, servitude to God, talks about how one should be kind towards the parents, and how their command is considered as the command of the Lord. It's something that one really have to accept. So it really points out to the rights, or what value the parents has, especially in relation or in regards to the mother, that we find where the heaven lies at the feet of the mother, which points out to the unique and special value that the mother have. It is because of her feet, because of the feet of a woman, because of the feet of a mother, the house becomes Jannah, the house becomes a paradise. It is through her. When she enters, when she comes, so it is her, in a way, from one side to make Jannah, the house, or if her feet is not there, it is her who will make the house a hell. So it is, when it is said that the heaven lies at the feet of the mother, so mother is the one who makes the house heaven, mother is the one who could make the house hell as well. So it sits upon her, no doubt. The other meaning is that the heaven lies at the feet of the mother is correct as well, where it says that the maqam, or the station of the mother, is so high that the heaven is at the feet, or to serve the mother is also another example, is given by the exegist. When a person serves it, he is serving, or he is making his Jannah, his paradise. So you have that family. Then within that you have the family law, which looks at the marriage as well. And it's very unfortunate, because I happen to teach Islamic family law as well. It is very unfortunate that our community have no clue of what Islamic family law is, how our women are abused by their family members, by their communities, because of the ignorance that they have in regards to the Islamic family law. The law of marriage that exists, the guardianship of the father, and the right and the choice that the daughter have, complication that might exist within the marriage. These things are unfortunately not well taken care, and our communities are not informed, because marriage comes under the transaction. It comes under the, it's a transaction, it is a contract. It comes under muamalat, and there are a lot of things that could be avoided if, God forbids, if a marriage doesn't work, if it is fully understood, if it is fully explained, in what the husband and wife are getting into, in what the two families are getting into. It is quite unfortunate that the community, they approach the community leader, or the Maulana, if you want to call, at the last minute, when everything is over, when the husband and wife, they have decided, or the families have decided that divorce should be taken care. That is the time when they go to the community leader or to the Maulana, and they say, Maulana, we just want divorce. Rather than they engage engage him way before that, when the problem starts. Well, this problem wouldn't have occurred if there be a thorough understanding of what a contract or what marriage really means. Maintenance is one of the essential requirement of the marriage contract. The husband is liable to maintain his wife according to the standard that she was at, and if he cannot, the wife have the right to complain to the judge, and the judge will take preliminary measures to really rectify that. The issue of maintenance today, for example, could be looked at when the wife spends for her own sort of beautifying herself, going to the salon, doing makeup, so on and so forth, which is part and parcel of the society, and it is something that is required by many women to do so in order to present themselves to the husbands, which come under the maintenance. And the money that is spent, the husband must really provide that. So these are the things that it is very unfortunate that our communities are unaware of. For example, if you look at within the family law, you have the travel expenses that come about of a wife, which should be borne by the husband. Husband is responsible for that. Furthermore, there are a lot of issues that unfortunately the male and female, or the community, the husband and wife, they are unaware of. When a divorce happens, what happens to that meher, that dowry, that marriage gift that is provided by the husband? When can it be revoked? Can it be revoked? Cannot be revoked? Divorce and the issues of divorce, ila mashallah, as they say. There's a lot of, but it is very unfortunate that our communities are unaware. It is very much required that the community leaders, the trustees, they should create the awareness. There should be an awareness week in the masajid, in the communities, of the Islamic family law. Our youth, our community members should really ask the resident alims, the maulanas of the community, to really have a workshop in relation to the Islamic family law, or at least when the youth are at the age of marriage, they should go through this course of Islamic family law, so that they become aware and so that they do not abuse. Unfortunately, it is abuse. The issues that we have, the issues with the temporary marriage, and the issues of how it is abuse. These are the things that our community should make themselves aware of. Now, moving further, because we don't want to take much of your time, that requires a program in itself in regards to the family law. Economics, once again, comes under muamalat. You would find many different facets that come from the transaction in regards to the economics, and how Islam have encouraged, to say so, risk, the distribution of sustenance. If it is divided in 10 portions, as the hadith says, 9 is placed in the in business, in tijara, and 1 is placed for general. So it is quite encouraged. Then now when it comes to business, when it comes to economics, when it comes to transaction, I remember our teacher mentioning that before, in Najaf and in Qom, before the business people, or in Tehran, in the Islamic countries, if you want to say, before they open the shop, they will have a mubahasa, they will have a dars, they will have a lesson in regards to economics, in regards to muamalat, in regards to how they should really have a relationship with the customer. What are the rights of the customer? What are the rights of the seller? We have laws for that. And when they read that, when they understand that, then they are utilizing and using this relationship of a customer this business as a means to really reach God, to come near God. It is used as a means. Yes, it is providing them livelihood. Like we said, Islam is the way of life. Islam means that a person lives Islam. So therefore, when a person is dealing with a customer, then he is with this transaction that is taking place, with this business that he is doing, through that he is gaining the livelihood for the dunya, no doubt, but at the same time he is coming near God by this transaction. So you would find that how Islam have encouraged. The Prophet, he himself was a merchant. He was the one who would take goods of Hazrat Khatija salamullah alayha, do the trade. How Makkah was the center of trade, and how the transactions used to it used to be the central, and it played a central role in Makkah. And how can it be that Islam overlooked this? Then you have the issues of politics. Even here you would find that how Islam have provided with the laws which deals with how a murderer should be treated. What is the right of those who are the victim, the father of the victim, for example, or the one who is the higher of the person who is murdered? Can he forgive? Can he not forgive? Can he transfer this right of forgiveness in his will if he dies? Or can he not transfer it? The executor, does he get the full right? Can he transfer this right to another? All of these are discussed. Obviously, when you have the issue of politics, when we are talking about the ahkam, the rules which been given and is required to be implemented in the society, then therefore this itself becomes the bed or the foundation of a governance, of a government. It means that it is talking about how a society should be ruled, how it should be governed, what and how these laws to be implemented. If these laws are not implemented, what are the consequences of it? The issue of zakat, the issue of khums, the issue of transactions that are there, and if they fall short in these transactions, who to complain and who would give the verdict, and how it should be implemented, how it should be carried out. So this all requires a system, and that in the today's age we'll probably call it a political system. Someone who is the head of this system, who have the knowledge of this law and is able to implement that. That's what we tend to see today. For instance, if you look at how Amirul Mu'mineen, as we said earlier, the letter of Amirul Mu'mineen to Malik Ashtar. Malik Ashtar was the governor, was appointed by Amirul Mu'mineen for Egypt, and he was going there, isn't it so? So now him being the governor, there was a system existing, a political system. So if the ibadat and the muamalat which was implemented and which is supposed to be implemented today as it was implemented before, why not that very political system which was implemented earlier can't be implemented today? When zakat was zakat and it was paid by the people, and as we say that zakat of that period, this period also we have to pay the zakat. What about the other ahkam in regards to the person who is a political leader, leader of a state, leader of a Muslim ummah? Shall we really overlook those riwayat, those traditions, or those practices, that methodology of governance? Shall we overlook that? Shall we just brush those under the carpet, or shall we implement that? When we are implementing, when we are practicing the issues in regards to ibadat, the issues in regards to muamalat, however politics come under that category as well, but other issues, Now, this is very absurd. If someone say that, okay, if that was for that period, it's not for this period, it's quite absurd. So therefore, Sharia provides a sound political system, a complete political system, a governance, a way to be governed. It is very much required that there be a leader who is an expert in the Sharia and who will perhaps be able to implement that if he is provided with that opportunity. Very similar to the times of the Imam. For example, when the people came to Amirul Mu'mineen, he accepted it. It is the people who came and who asked democratically. Amirul Mu'mineen accepted and he implemented. So same applies today. If there be, if you look at your household, within that household, within that small family, you have a dispute and you want to resolve this dispute, you go to your elder member who is aware of this law, or you go to your community leader who is aware of the law, and we ask for a verdict and we will accept that. So if you look at this small family, if you look at that community that you're going to, if you look at that community to a sort of like a neighborhood, if you look at that neighborhood to a state, the same rules and laws apply, and there are ahkam or ruling for every walks or every domain of the society. So saying that political leadership is something outside the spirituality or divine law, it is absurd. It is part and parcel of that, and we have clearly seen today. When we look at the history of the seminaries, hawzas, we would find that Najaf to be very non-political, to be very refraining itself consciously from politics. But at the present period, we would find that Najaf to be very political. The stands that at present in the contemporary period Ayatollah Sistani takes is very political. So the period and the time that we live in dictates, and it requires that our maraje or our religious leaders who are expert, the fuqaha who are expert in the Sharia, must take up a stand, must really provide with some answers in regards to what is happening around us. This was foreseen by Imam Khomeini, and he kind of established the Islamic governance, the principle or the theory of Islamic governance or jurist, as we have, the guardianship of the jurist. So therefore, Sharia becomes a complete way of life. Now, as we said, Islam is the way of life. The will of the Lord is the Sharia, is the embodiment. The Sharia is the embodiment of the will of the Lord. So therefore, when an act takes place, when it is saying La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, when we are participating in carrying an act out of ibadat, carrying an act out in a muamalat, we are carrying that will of the Lord. We are acting the way God wants us to act. We are making ourselves in line with His, our horizontal sort of action is becoming in line with that vertical will of the Lord. Now, theologically speaking, you might have the divine will, which in every aspect it takes place. Then you have the Sharia will, which we'll talk in more detail in our next session. What is the difference between the metaphysical will and the legislative will of the Lord? Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you next week again. Goodbye from Hidayat tonight and from the spiritual perspectives. Thank you very much. Goodbye.